Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and it's time for another critiquey McCritiquerson of an official presidential portrait. This time around, the photographer is Daniel Torok, and he took the photo that was just released of Donald Trump, next president, number 47, as well as J.D. Vance, and I'm gonna give it a critiquey McCritiquerson. Now, before we get too far, I do wanna say that this is about photography. This video is not about politics, so let's just keep it to the photograph that's in question, and we're gonna talk about it from a technical standpoint, and I'm also gonna share direct quotes from the photographer himself, who I corresponded with a little while ago on Instagram, where I asked him pointed questions about how he shot the image and the choices that he made. So let's jump into the portrait right now. This is the official presidential portrait for Donald Trump's second term right here. And I have to say, the first thing that I thought when I saw this image was, that is a very interesting choice of lighting. I'm not saying I don't like the image. I actually think it's a very solid and strong image that conveys exactly what Donald Trump wants to convey here. Now, keep in mind that Donald Trump gets to pick what photo is coming out. He's looking at the back of the screen of the photographer and saying, I like this photo, make that look good, edit that, that's the one that I want. And I think it's a very strong photo. Questionable choice of putting the lighting below the eye line, because when you do that, it kind of gives the image a maniacal look. Now, in terms of the look, this is exactly what Donald Trump wants to put out there. To me, it fits the narrative that he wants. It comes across as strong. Now, he's not smiling, and he was smiling in some of his other images, and I honestly think he has one of the best smiles I've ever seen. It just basically lights up a room, but this has a scowl to it. It comes across as powerful. It doesn't come across as warm and inviting, but it conveys the message that he's trying to make. And we know that it looks a lot like the mugshot, right? A lot of people are saying that it must have been inspired by the mugshot. So I went ahead and asked Daniel, were you inspired by the mugshot? And he gave me this answer. Yes, he really loved the Apprentice style image that launched in 2017, the one that you said was the worst ever. So I wanted to take that idea and merge it with the wildly successful mugshot. What we got was a hybrid, but I also added little touches that some may notice or not. Now, right there is your answer. Yes, they used the mugshot as inspiration. I also wanted to double down to verify that, so I went ahead and asked again, yes, it was slightly inspired by the Apprentice and mugshot photo, and he said more than slightly. The mugshot photo was one of the most searched images maybe ever. So that right there is the answer, is yes, that mugshot was a lot of inspiration to this. Now, for those who haven't seen the mugshot, I don't know where you've been, but this is the mugshot. Very similar scowl. It has different lighting, of course, but this from a studio portrait standpoint looks really good. I love the fact technically that we're even left to right on the shoulders. Unlike this portrait of Donald Trump that was shot in front of a TV screen in the background with not very good lighting and light coming, just one little spectral light hitting right there. This was not that great of an image in terms of lighting, in terms of clarity. It was shot with a 1DS Mark III, which was already a 10-year-old camera at the time. The colors don't look as good, but this right here, the new portrait, is touched up very well. It's edited very well. It makes the point, the colors and the tones are nice, and it was shot with a Nikon. Daniel used a Nikon Z9. He posted this on his Instagram with the 85 1.2. He shot it at 5.6 and 6.3 for each of those photos, 160 ISO, and he used Pro Photo lights to light it. They were the D30 for the front with two B10Xs over the shoulder and under as eyeliner. He used an A2 for hair light, and all were done with soft boxes and some grids. And yes, he did shoot raw. So I asked about editing and how much editing he did do to the image, and he said he did hundreds of different edits to get it to the point where he liked how it looked and how Donald Trump liked how it looked. And so yes, there is a lot of retouching and editing that went into this, but I think all of the presidential portraits, at least the most recent ones, have had that done to them. And this is much stronger than the first two Donald Trump portraits. Daniel also let me know that never in his life has he ever done a studio portrait with lighting before this. He's been a professional photographer for a long time, but this was the first time that he did studio lighting, and I will say that it doesn't look like the first time he did studio lighting. It doesn't come across as amateur. It works, but I still question being underneath to do underlighting and not, you know, straight on or from an angle up top to make it a little softer. But it certainly makes a point. Now, let's jump through to the JD Vance photo real quick before we come back to everything else. The JD Vance photo looks clean. It looks nice. You know, there's a little bit of the frame coming out of the top of his head here. It's not perfectly even left to right, but it's pretty damn close. And I'm assuming that he's right in the middle if we have to check the grid. No, he's actually not directly in the middle. His tie is in the middle. I would rather see his nose come a little bit more to the middle of the frame personally. Just personal choice here. Whatever. It's good, the light's good, the edit's good. I only question the amount of brightening of the eyes. First thing I thought with this image was White Walker, because it has those eyes that are over edited in my opinion. The rest of the image looks fine. I think maybe the shadows were brought up just a little bit too much, so I might bring those down a little bit, and I probably would edit the eyes a little bit less. I didn't think I was gonna edit this, but let's go to X3 and just bring the eyes back. So we can just select the iris here. Oh my God, much better. That's what his eyes look like. His eyes look like that. They don't look like this. So yes, those eyes are definitely overdone. I think it went too far, and wow, dare I say my edit looks better. I think those are what his eyes look like. I've looked at other photos to see they're not White Walker-esque. That is much better. So the portrait for Biden was an okay portrait. It's highly lit. It's softened quite a bit. It's fine, right? He's smiling. It looks good. It's basic. This one just seems like they threw it all together. They threw him in a room and they just took the photo. I did ask Daniel how much time he had. He said he had roughly 20 minutes to take the photos, and then from there they selected the ones they wanted. He made some prints and then hand delivered them to Donald Trump to decide on which ones he liked the most. And then this portrait right here, which I believe was the official one that they went with officially, just seems like it's underlit. And it's more of those here, stand here, take the picture, get the shot. Whereas this current one, a lot of thought went into this. I don't dislike it. I think it's one of the stronger photos that we've seen, especially of the three Donald Trump photos. This is probably the best one, or is the best one of the bunch. Still, he went with that low light. What do you think about the choice of lighting there to go light? And then of course the focus of lighting going right to his eyes to draw you into it. It serves exactly what I think the narrative is that Donald Trump is trying to portray here. And I think he did a good job, the photographer did a good job of portraying that. What I found interesting is when I commented on this photo on Daniel's Instagram, he replied back with something that I found to be kind of funny. He said, "I was waiting for you to see these. Trust me when I say I religiously watched all your POTUS and Bernie videos and worked to correct all your previous critiques." I find that interesting that I've actually had an effect on people that pay attention and use what I've said to help create something like this. I mean, that is a weird 6 degrees of separation right there, or an interesting 6 degrees of separation, that something I've said in the critiques of the past presidential portraits went to the current photographer who did this portrait right here, and he took some of the things that I said as inspiration to correct and did a very good job here. There's no other way to say it. Again, the choice of lighting is deliberate. They deliberately chose to go with this lighting. In fact, I did ask this question about choosing it. I asked if the choice to light from under was deliberate, and the answer was yes. I wanted to draw people into his eyes. And he absolutely drew people into his eyes right there because the eyes are the main focus. I don't think they're as over-edited as the J.D. Vance photo was. Now, since I have them here, let's look at Obama's portrait right here, which I still think was a little dark. I think it didn't have enough light at the time, but it's nice and soft. You can see it. This was, I believe, one of the first ones done with a digital camera. And then you've got Bush's, or maybe Bush's was the first one done with a digital camera. This is just like a basic lit portrait, just off to the side, soft, and everything like that. Back to the Donald Trump photo here. I find it interesting that he said 5'6" or 6'3", yet the ears are completely in focus and the full head's in focus. I definitely see that there was editing done where you might have masked him out in Lightroom here, because I think you can hit subject. Well, I know we can hit subject, and it definitely picks him out right here, and you can see what happens when you select the subject here, right? You've got the choice. I'm not trying to change his edit there. I think he did a very good job of doing his edit. So a lot of deliberate choices made here. I'm curious what you guys think from a photographic standpoint of this image. What do you think about the choice to mimic and basically copy the mugshot look? What do you think about the lighting? Do you think he did exactly what he tried to convey? So let me know your thoughts down below. Keep it real, right? Keep it about photography from a technical standpoint, but that's where I'm gonna leave it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Jared, PolinFroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.